I'm Mike McCrea. Um, I'm 61 years old, almost 62. Uh, I came in for um, because of a car accident. We were sitting at a stoplight, and a car came off the interstate and hit a curb and literally landed on top of our car. And the only thing that we can figure is that I was trying to keep from hitting the car in front of us. I actually saw it coming, and so I turned the wheel to the left. And I guess when I was pulling on the wheel, I ripped everything up, and plus I hit the door really hard. So I did a lot of damage. Um, Tore my bicep, ripped a couple tendons. He did 5 repairs. I don't remember exactly what they are, but I know there was 2 ligaments or tendons that were tore, and the bicep was tore. So it was hurting pretty bad. And this was in July of 22, and I didn't come to see Dr. Coleman until January of 23. I went to somebody else prior that I've been pretty loyal to, but I didn't like the service that I was getting. So my wife says, well, why don't you come to where I work? And she says, Dr. Coleman is great. So I said, all right, give me an appointment and we'll try him out. Well, as soon as he saw the MRI and stuff, he's like, man, he says, I don't understand what they were waiting on. This is pretty cut and dry, And so I came because I wasn't happy with where I was, and I'm thrilled that I came here. I worked with Dr. Coleman. I came in and saw him, and of course, I had been through this other office. I'd had an MRI done and several x-rays. And so I brought all that with me, and Dr. Coleman pulled them right up there on the screen, and he says, well, here's what's wrong, here's what needs to be fixed. And he said, you are literally, a movement away from ripping everything loose. And he says, I wouldn't put it off. So he pulled up on his calendar, and he said, here's the first opening I have, which is only a couple weeks away. And he said, I suggest that this is the route that we go. And he was just very thorough. Just took care of business. The recovery was a little tougher than I thought it was going to be. And I was actually afraid of doing the physical therapy because, it seems like every time I do physical therapy, it does more damage. So after the surgery, I came in and saw Dr. Coleman, and he says, well, now's when I find out if you've actually done the exercises that I've given you. And so my first time in, he said, well, you've exceeded what my expectations were. He said, in 2 weeks, you're at where I expect people to be in 30 days. And so he says, I know you're doing your exercises and stuff. So as long as I was doing my exercises, everything was great. And of course, with this surgery, you have to have somebody help you. So my wife was very diligent about helping me lift my arm and all that stuff. So, you're not trying to lift all this weight. It doesn't sound like much, but when you're trying to raise your arm without using all your muscles, there's a lot more to it than that. And of course, it hurt like crap, but you got to do what you got to do. But when I came back to him in a month, he's like, well, he said, you're at a 3-month level. So he said, at this point, we'll just keep going and see how it goes. So it took about 3 months, and he's like, there's nothing else I can do for you. This is a whole lot better than what I've ever been able to do. So he's like, just don't overdo it. I have been taking it easy, and I'm just now getting back to where I can do my normal routines and stuff. Simple stuff, putting on your socks one-handed, that's not easy to do, So, but it works. But Dr. Coleman was fantastic. So when we got all said and done, where he says, okay, there's nothing else I can do for you, just don't overdo it and stuff. Um, 3 months, and he was telling me, he said, you're probably not going to be at the point to where you can do what you want for 6 months. So at 3 months, he says, all right, well, you're pretty good to go. Just, don't overdo it and all that stuff. He said, but you're still going to hurt for about a year. And I don't know. I don't seem to have pain. It's blown me away, because I just, you go to reach for something and you expect it to hurt and all that, and it doesn't. So I would highly recommend it. I have not had a single problem dealing with OSC, from getting appointments to checking out, billing, and of course the surgery staff and all of that. It's been remarkable. It has absolutely amazed me. I've had back surgeries, ankle replacements, joints fused because I have degenerative bone, and so I'm used to surgeries and stuff. And this was supposed to be one of the hardest surgeries to recover from, and it was actually probably one of my easiest. And I put that all up to the care that I got before the surgery, of course the surgery, and then the aftercare. It's just, you can't ask for anything better. And like I said, all the staff, everybody I've dealt with has always been smiling. They actually at least act like they care about who you are. And I've been blown away with it. It's just amazing to me. Don't think twice. Go see Dr. Coleman. OSC. They've done stuff for my wife. This is my first encounter with them, and I would not hesitate to come back. So don't mess around. If you don't feel like you're getting the right help with where you're at, then come to the best. I mean, that's the only way you can put it, because physical therapy, if I would have done what they were trying to get me to do, it would have messed me up. And I don't have any doubt about that, because it never started getting better. It just kept getting worse and worse. And you have somebody with the experience that Dr. Coleman has, and he's telling you, well, he says, I'm glad that didn't work out, because this would have happened. It's just, yes, I would tell him not to hesitate.